The universe is empty, vast beyond anything your mind can truly hold. Billions of light years of pure, silent, nothing stretching in every direction. When you first hear that, it can feel unsettling, almost overwhelming. The idea that we drift through an endless ocean of darkness, separated from the nearest star by distances so immense they reduce our entire planet to less than a grain of dust. It feels lonely. It feels cold. But tonight, as your body begins to relax and your thoughts grow quieter, I want to offer you a different perspective. Something gentler. Something that may slowly reshape the way you feel about that emptiness. Because the truth is that vast silence is not something to fear. It is a gift, a quiet shelter, a kind of invisible protection woven into the fabric of reality itself. The emptiness of space is the reason you can close your eyes tonight and drift peacefully into sleep, knowing that you exist within one of the safest regions the universe can offer. That immense distance, that quiet separation between stars, acts like a natural barrier. It softens danger before it can ever reach us. It slows everything down. It gives us time. And in that time, life is allowed to grow, to breathe, to become something meaningful. So instead of imagining the universe as a cold and hostile void, let yourself see it as a calm and protective expanse, gently holding everything in place. Now, allow your mind to drift a little further. Picture yourself standing on a quiet beach at night. The sand is cool beneath your feet, soft and steady. The air is still, carrying only the faint sound of distant waves moving in slow, rhythmic patterns. Above you, the sky stretches endlessly, filled with faint points of light scattered across the darkness, each star separated by unimaginable distances, yet together forming a peaceful, silent panorama. And as you stand there, breathing slowly, you begin to feel it. Not the emptiness as something hollow, but as something calm, something vast, yet gentle. Something that asks nothing from you except to rest, to observe, and to simply be. The waves move gently against the shore, repeating a rhythm as old as the earth itself. Above you, the sky stretches endlessly, filled with tiny points of light. Each one is a sun. Each one burns with the quiet power of nuclear fire, bright enough to warm entire worlds. And yet, from where you stand, they appear small and calm, like distant diamonds scattered across a vast, dark velvet sky. This is the first quiet truth of the universe. It is so immense that even its most violent events, the most powerful forces that exist, appear soft and distant when seen from afar. And we are always far away. That distance is our gift. The nearest star to our sun is called Proxima Centauri. It lies about 4 light years from us. 4 light years may sound like a simple number, but when you pause and truly feel it, its meaning begins to unfold. Light travels at roughly 670 million miles per hour. It is the fastest thing we know. Nothing can outrun it. And yet, even at that unimaginable speed, light still needs 4 full years to cross the space between our sun and its closest neighbor. If you could somehow drive a car at constant highway speed, never stopping, never resting, it would take around 50 million years to reach that same star. 50 million years of continuous motion through the dark, and you would still only arrive at the nearest one. Beyond it lie hundreds of billions more, stretching far beyond anything we can truly comprehend. To some, that scale feels frightening. It can create the image of drifting alone through an endless void, with no direction and no one to hear you. But that is not what this emptiness truly means. You are not lost in space. You are here, on a quiet blue world, wrapped in a protective atmosphere, surrounded by life, by warmth, by familiarity. The emptiness is not a prison, it is a boundary, a quiet, protective distance that separates you from the chaos unfolding elsewhere in the cosmos. Because out there, far beyond our reach, the universe is anything but calm. Somewhere, even now, a star is reaching the end of its life. After billions of years of steady burning, it begins to collapse inward. Then, in a final release of energy, its outer layers explode outward in a supernova, shining so brightly that for a short time it can outshine an entire galaxy. A single dying star can glow brighter than hundreds of billions of others combined. The energy released in such an event is almost impossible to imagine. Any world too close would be erased instantly, reduced back to its most basic elements. But you are not close. You are here on Earth, separated from every supernova by vast stretches of quiet space. That distance is not emptiness in the negative sense. It is a shield, a gentle, invisible protection that keeps these events far away from you. Or consider black holes, regions where matter has been compressed so completely that not even light can escape. Anything that crosses their boundary is pulled inward, beyond return, into a state where our understanding of physics begins to fade. Across the universe, there are black holes millions of times more massive than our Sun, resting at the centers of galaxies, slowly drawing in stars and gas. And yet, the nearest known ones are thousands of light years away. They cannot reach you. They cannot touch you. You remain here, in a quiet corner of space, held safely by distance, surrounded by the stillness of the cosmos. And that is what I want you to feel tonight. Not fear, not isolation, but a deep, ancient sense of safety, the kind that comes from being exactly where you are meant to be, in a universe that has given you all the space you need. Now let your thoughts drift a little further. Imagine moving gently through that darkness, not as something empty, but as something calm and expansive. Between the stars lies what scientists call the interstellar medium. It sounds complex, but it simply refers to the thin material that exists in the vast spaces between suns. And what is most remarkable is just how little of it there is. In a region the size of a small cube, you might find only 1 or 2 atoms. Almost nothing at all. Compare that to the air around you right now, where each tiny space contains tens of billions of molecules. The difference is immense. Space is not just empty, it is emptier than anything we can recreate on Earth. Even our most advanced vacuum chambers, designed to remove nearly all matter, still contain far more particles than the natural emptiness between stars. And that emptiness is not a flaw. It is essential. It allows stars to exist for billions of years without colliding. It keeps powerful cosmic events at a safe distance. It creates the quiet conditions needed for life to slowly emerge and grow on a small, stable world like ours. Imagine, for a moment, a different kind of universe. One where stars were packed tightly together, like traffic in a crowded city. In such a place, stability would be impossible. Stars would pass close enough to disturb planetary orbits. Explosions would occur nearby again and again. Entire systems would be disrupted long before life had a chance to take hold. But that is not our universe. Our universe is spacious. It is patient. It gives time. And time is everything. It is what allowed life on Earth to form and evolve. Our planet began its journey about 4.5 billion years ago. In its early days, It was a violent place, covered in molten rock, constantly struck by asteroids. Slowly, over immense stretches of time, it cooled, water gathered, conditions stabilized, and eventually, life began its quiet, gradual emergence. All of that was possible because of distance, because of silence, because of the vast, protective emptiness that surrounds us. From simple chemistry, complexity slowly emerged. Molecules began to interact in more intricate ways, forming structures that could store information and replicate themselves. And somewhere, deep within the warm oceans of the ancient Earth, the first living cell flickered into existence. From that single, fragile beginning to you, here in this moment, took nearly 4 billion years. 4 billion years of quiet persistence. 4 billion years of trial and error. Of life rising and falling. Of extinctions and new beginnings unfolding again and again. Over those billions of years, life climbed gradually toward greater complexity. Step by step. Generation by generation. Until one day, a creature stood upright on the African savanna and looked up at the night sky with a sense of wonder. None of that would have been possible without the vast emptiness surrounding us. Without that space, without that distance, life would never have had the time it needed to grow. We are, in a very real sense, the children of that quiet void. We exist because the universe is so gently, so beautifully empty. And now, as you lie there, letting your breathing slow and your body soften, you can begin to feel that protection around you. You are home. You are safe. The emptiness is not something that threatens you. It is something that has always been with you, quietly keeping everything in balance. It is not your enemy. It is your oldest companion. Let us drift a little deeper into that darkness together. There is a region of space known as the local bubble. It stretches for about 1,000 light years across, and our solar system rests comfortably inside it. This region is even emptier than the already sparse space between stars. It is like a hollow pocket within the interstellar medium, where even fewer atoms drift quietly through the void. Scientists believe this bubble was formed long ago by a series of ancient supernova explosions. Millions of years in the past. Those dying stars pushed away the surrounding gas and dust, clearing out a vast region and leaving behind an area of extra emptiness. And by chance, our sun now travels through the center of this calm, quiet cavity. This means we are protected not just once, but twice. The universe itself is mostly empty. And within that vast emptiness, we exist in a region that is even more gently cleared out. It is like resting inside a soft, quiet space within a much larger calm, a kind of natural shelter, layered within another shelter, all floating together in the slow stillness of the cosmos. The local bubble is not static. It continues to expand slowly. Even now, growing outward at a steady, gentle pace. Over the course of a few million years, it will extend far enough to include nearby star systems that are currently beyond its edge. The emptiness is spreading. The quiet protection is slowly widening. And we drift along within it, undisturbed. Beyond this bubble, the universe continues in the same peaceful pattern. Vast stretches of space, interrupted only occasionally by distant stars. Silence, distance, and calm woven together on a scale almost impossible to imagine. Now let your awareness expand further, taking in the structure of our entire galaxy. The Milky Way is our home. It contains somewhere between 200 billion and 400 billion stars. Depending on how we measure and estimate, that number sounds enormous. And it is. But those stars are spread across a disk nearly 100,000 light-years wide. When you consider that scale, something surprising appears. On average, there is only about one star every few light-years. Even in a galaxy filled with hundreds of billions of suns, each one sits quietly within its own region of darkness, separated from its neighbors by vast distances. The Milky Way is not crowded. It is not chaotic. It is more like an endless ocean, where small islands of light are scattered far apart, each surrounded by calm, open space. If you were to travel through this galaxy, moving steadily from one side to the other, most of your journey would be spent in darkness. Years could pass without coming close to another star, and that darkness would not feel empty in a negative way. It would feel still, quiet, undisturbed. Our sun sits about 26,000 light-years from the center of the galaxy. Not too close, not too far. We are not in the crowded central regions, where stars are packed more tightly together. Instead, we live in a calmer part of the Milky Way, a kind of quiet neighborhood where everything is spaced comfortably apart and cosmic activity remains gentle and distant. The center of the galaxy is a far more intense place. There, stars are packed closer together, radiation levels rise, and at the very heart lies a supermassive black hole, about 4 million times more massive than our sun. From time to time, it releases powerful bursts of energy that stretch outward across thousands of light-years. But we are far from all of that. We exist out here in a quieter region, a calm neighborhood of the Milky Way where very little disturbance reaches us and the cosmic night remains long and peaceful. Our position is not something chosen with intention, but it is not without meaning. Life could only emerge in a place like this, a region where the universe remains quiet long enough for complexity to develop. Scientists call this the galactic habitable zone, a band within the galaxy where conditions are balanced, not too close to the energetic and crowded center, and not too far out where essential elements become scarce. It is a narrow region where everything aligns just enough for life to take hold. In a way, we are perfectly placed within a universe that allows us to exist. Everything about our location speaks of safety and quiet stability. Now let your awareness expand even further, moving beyond our galaxy into the larger structure of the universe. The Milky Way is part of a small collection of galaxies known as the Local Group. It contains around 80 galaxies, most of them small and faint. The two largest are the Milky Way and the Andromeda Galaxy, which is similar in size to our own and lies about 2.5 million light-years away. Even at that distance, Andromeda is our nearest large neighbor. The light you would see from it tonight began its journey 2.5 million years ago. It left that galaxy long before humans existed, long before anything we would recognize as civilization. By the time that light began traveling toward us, the Earth itself was home to very different forms of life. And only now, after millions of years crossing the vast emptiness of space, does it finally arrive. This is how the universe is arranged on its largest scales. Galaxies are separated by millions of light-years of quiet distance, each one an island of hundreds of billions of stars, floating alone in a dark ocean so vast that even light needs millions of years to cross it. The local group itself belongs to a larger structure known as the Virgo supercluster, a collection of around 100 galaxy groups and clusters, all loosely connected by gravity and spanning about 100 million light-years. And even this is not the end of the scale. The Virgo supercluster is part of something larger still, a structure called Laniakea, which contains roughly 100,000 galaxies spread across about 500 million light-years. The name Laniakea comes from the Hawaiian language and can be understood as immense heaven. A fitting description for something so vast it almost escapes comprehension. Yet even structures of this scale are only small parts of a much larger cosmic pattern. Across the observable universe, there are many such regions, scattered like distant archipelagos in an endless expanse. And between them lies emptiness, mile after mile, light year after light year of silent, undisturbed space. The universe, when viewed on the largest scales, resembles a kind of cosmic foam. Galaxies gather along thin filaments and sheets, leaving behind enormous empty regions known as cosmic voids. These voids are not rare. They are a fundamental part of the universe's structure. Vast regions where almost nothing exists. One of the most well-known examples is the Boötes void. It stretches across roughly 330 million light-years. To imagine that scale, you could place around 150 galaxies the size of the Milky Way side by side across its width. When astronomers first studied this region, they expected to find thousands of galaxies within it. Instead, they found only about 60, a number so small that it was difficult to accept at first. The Boötes void is almost entirely empty. And while that idea can seem unsettling, it can also be understood in a different way. It is a place where the noise of the universe fades almost completely away. A region of deep stillness. If you could somehow exist at its center and look outward, the nearest galaxies would be so distant they would barely be visible. Imagine that kind of silence. Imagine being surrounded by hundreds of millions of light years of calm, where nothing moves quickly and nothing threatens to disturb the stillness. That is not something to fear. It is something profoundly peaceful. It is the universe offering a space where nothing reaches you, where everything slows down, where the vastness itself becomes a kind of protection. We do not live inside such an extreme void. Our region is more active, more filled with nearby stars and galaxies. But even here, that same principle holds. The emptiness still surrounds us. The silence is still present, gently shaping the environment that allows us to exist. And now, as you continue to listen, let yourself feel that quiet presence around you. Let your body sink a little deeper into rest. Let your thoughts soften and fade, like distant stars disappearing into the dark space between them. You are drifting now, just as our planet drifts through space. Slowly, gently, safely. There is no rush, no urgency, only a quiet motion carried forward through time. The emptiness around you is not something distant. It is something that has always been there, steady and constant, like a calm presence that never leaves. It is your companion. Let us continue a little deeper into the night. Earlier, I mentioned something called the Great Silence. It is a phrase used by scientists and thinkers to describe a mystery that has followed us for decades. We have listened carefully to the universe, using powerful radio telescopes, sending signals outward, searching for any sign that we are not alone. And yet, so far, we have found nothing. No messages from distant civilizations. No signals shaped by intelligence. Only the soft background whisper of the cosmos and the slow, steady rhythm of stars. For some, this silence feels unsettling. It is often connected to what is known as the Fermi paradox, named after Enrico Fermi, who asked a simple question that still echoes today. If the universe is so vast, so old, filled with billions of stars and countless planets, then where is everyone? Why have we not heard anything at all? Why does everything remain so quiet? There are many possible answers, and we could explore them one by one. But for now, allow yourself to consider a gentler perspective. What if the silence is not something missing, But something given. What if it is not a problem, but a kind of protection? Imagine a universe filled with constant signals, civilizations broadcasting endlessly, ships traveling between stars, worlds overlapping and competing. Imagine the noise, the confusion, the endless motion. Now return to what we actually have. Silence, space, time, a quiet universe that allows things to grow slowly, without interruption. That silence is not empty. It is full of possibility. It is the space where stories have yet to be written, where discoveries are still waiting, where life can unfold at its own pace. It is a blank page, open and undisturbed, and perhaps, in its own quiet way, it keeps us safe. There is an idea, sometimes called the dark forest theory, that offers another way to look at this silence. It imagines the universe as a vast forest at night. In that forest, there may be many observers, each aware that others could exist, but none certain of where they are. And so, everyone remains quiet, hidden, careful, because making noise, revealing your position, could bring unknown consequences. Whether or not this idea is true, it carries a simple and calming thought. In a place where uncertainty exists, remaining quiet, remaining unseen, can be a form of safety. It is not weakness. It is balance. It is awareness. And the vast distances between stars, the deep emptiness of space, become the very thing that allows that safety to exist. If you imagine Earth as a small, warm place within that vastness, it becomes something comforting. Like a quiet home surrounded by a dark and silent landscape, inside, there is warmth, light, and life. Outside, there is distance, stillness, and calm. And that distance is what keeps everything in its place. Even if these ideas are only metaphors, they carry something gentle within them. We are all, in a sense, resting within our own small corner of the universe, surrounded by a vastness that keeps everything balanced. The emptiness does not press in on us. It holds everything apart, giving each part of the universe room to exist. So now, let the silence settle around you. Let it feel soft, like a quiet blanket gently placed over your thoughts. You are safe here. There is nothing reaching for you, nothing rushing toward you. Only stillness, only calm. If your eyes are still open, allow them to close. Take a slow breath in, filling your lungs gently, and then release it just as slowly. Feel your body growing heavier, more relaxed, supported by the surface beneath you. You are drifting now, like a small vessel moving across a vast and peaceful ocean. There are no waves to disturb you, no storms on the horizon, only the quiet, endless expanse that has carried our planet for billions of years, and will continue to carry it far into the future. And in that gentle drift, there is nothing to fear, only peace, only stillness, only the soft, endless embrace of the universe itself. Let us continue drifting together. I want to tell you more about the stars, not about their violence or their danger, but about their patience, about the slow, steady way they burn through the night, offering light and warmth without ever asking anything in return. Our sun is about 4.5 billion years old. For all that time, it has been quietly converting hydrogen into helium in its core, releasing energy that flows outward in every direction. A small fraction of that energy reaches Earth, It warms our days and lights our skies. It makes life possible in ways so constant that we rarely stop to notice it. And our sun will continue this gentle process for roughly another 5 billion years. 5 billion more years of light. 5 billion more years of warmth. 5 billion more years of stability. The kind of quiet consistency that life depends on. Not all stars are so patient. Some burn hotter and faster, using up their fuel in just a few million years before ending in powerful explosions. These are the blue giants. Brilliant and intense, living short and dramatic lives before scattering their material back into space. But stars like our sun are different. They are steady, balanced, neither too extreme nor too brief. They burn slowly, year after year, age after age, providing a stable presence in the vastness around them. And our sun exists within that same gentle emptiness we have been exploring. The nearest star lies 4 light-years away. Truly dangerous events are far more distant than that. Here, in this quiet region of space, our sun simply continues its work, warming its family of planets, asking only for time. Time. That idea returns again and again. The emptiness gives us time. The steady nature of stars gives us time. The vast distances between everything give us time. And time is what allows complexity to grow. It allows life to evolve. It allows awareness itself to slowly emerge. Life does not happen quickly. Evolution does not rush. The things that matter most take immense stretches of time to form. And the universe, by being so wide and so quiet, has made that time available. Right now, as you rest, time continues to move gently forward, each moment flowing into the next, soft and uninterrupted, like water moving along a calm path. There is no need to hurry, no need to hold tension. There is always more time ahead, stretching outward like the distance between stars. Let that thought settle in. Let it slow your breathing. Let your mind grow quieter as each breath becomes softer and deeper. Drift now. Drift a little further. The stars continue their quiet watch, burning patiently in the darkness. The emptiness surrounds you, not as something cold, but as something steady and protective. Everything is as it should be. And yet, this emptiness is not only a shield, it is also something else. It is a canvas. A vast, open space where possibility quietly unfolds. Within that darkness, there may be countless worlds we have not yet discovered. Planets orbiting distant stars, some perhaps carrying their own forms of life, unfolding in ways we cannot yet imagine. There are clouds of gas glowing softly, regions where new stars are slowly being born. There are distant galaxies turning through space, each one containing billions of chances, billions of stories waiting to unfold. The emptiness is not truly empty. It is filled with potential. It is the space that gives everything else meaning. Without the darkness between stars, the stars themselves would lose their presence. Without silence, sound would lose its shape. The emptiness is what allows structure to exist. What gives contrast to light? What creates the conditions for beauty to emerge? And even now, within that vast quiet, processes continue. Atoms drift through space, drawn together by gravity, forming gentle clouds. Over long periods of time, those clouds begin to collapse, slowly heating, slowly changing, until one day a new star ignites. A new source of light begins to shine. And around that new star, worlds may form, worlds that may one day hold oceans, skies, and perhaps even life. And somewhere, in some distant future, something might look up from one of those worlds and wonder about the universe. Just as you are doing now, the universe is creating itself, one patient step at a time. The emptiness is not dead space. It is space waiting to become something more. It is potential, quietly unfolding into reality. It is the future, already forming in ways too slow and too vast for us to notice moment by moment. And you are part of that process. You, lying there in the quiet, are one of the ways the universe has learned to look back at itself. You are matter that has become aware. You are a collection of atoms that once drifted through the cosmic void, now gathered into something that can think, feel, and wonder. Every atom in your body has traveled across immense distances, waiting patiently to become part of something meaningful. And now here you are, listening, reflecting, existing. That is not loneliness. That is something deeply beautiful. It is the emptiness giving rise to meaning again and again across billions of years and across distances so vast they cannot be fully imagined. And as you continue to drift, let yourself feel that connection. You are not separate from the universe. You are part of it, woven into it completely. The same substance that forms stars and planets forms you. The same quiet emptiness that stretches between galaxies exists in every breath you take. It is all part of one continuous existence, expressing itself in countless forms, including you. You are home. You have always been home. The universe is not something outside of you. It is where you belong. The emptiness is simply the space between rooms in a house so vast it has no visible walls. And within that house, everything has its place. So rest now. Rest in the certainty that you are exactly where you need to be. Let the darkness feel gentle. Let it feel safe. Let it feel familiar. The stars continue to burn. The emptiness continues to hold everything in balance. And you continue to drift, slowly and peacefully, toward whatever dreams may come. There is no need to hold on. No need to resist. Just let the night carry you. I will remain here, quietly speaking, keeping you company as you move through the stillness. There is no rush. There is nowhere you need to arrive. There is only this moment, this breath, this soft movement through the endless night. And within that night, everything is calm. Everything is safe. Everything is as it should be. Now, let me share something more. Something that reveals just how carefully the universe protects the places where life can grow. Around our solar system, there is a boundary known as the heliopause. It marks the outer edge of the sun's influence. Inside this boundary, a steady flow of charged particles, called the solar wind, moves outward in all directions. This solar wind pushes against the thin material that exists between stars, creating a vast bubble around our entire solar system. This bubble is known as the heliosphere. It surrounds everything we know, forming a protective layer that shields us from much of the high-energy radiation traveling through interstellar space. Cosmic rays move through the universe at speeds close to that of light. Some are born in supernova explosions. Others emerge from regions near black holes. Some come from processes we are still trying to understand. These particles carry enormous energy, and too much exposure to them can damage living cells. But the heliosphere acts as a barrier. It deflects many of these particles, reducing the amount that reaches the inner solar system. In a quiet, natural way, the sun creates a protective environment simply by existing. Its gentle outflow forms a shield that surrounds us. And this protection does not stop there. Earth itself has its own magnetic field. extending far into space. This magnetosphere captures charged particles and guides them toward the poles, where they create soft displays of light in the sky. It is another layer of protection, working continuously, quietly, without effort. So when you picture your place in the universe, imagine this. You are on a planet with its own magnetic shield. That planet orbits a star that surrounds itself with a protective bubble. That system exists inside a region of space that is especially empty. That region lies within a calm part of a vast galaxy. And that galaxy itself drifts within an even larger, mostly empty universe. Layer upon layer of protection. Shield upon shield. Distance upon distance. All of it combining to create a place where life can exist, grow, and become aware. You are more protected than you may have ever realized. The universe has wrapped you in quiet safety at every scale. And as you rest tonight, all of these protections continue. The magnetosphere deflects harmful particles. The heliosphere pushes back radiation. The emptiness keeps distant dangers far away. Everything is working. Everything is in balance. Everything is holding you safely in place. Let that thought settle gently within you. Let it soften your muscles. Let it quiet any remaining tension in your mind. You are safe. You have always been safe. Now, let us continue. By Mars, drifting softly through our cosmic neighborhood. Between Mars and Jupiter lies a region known as the asteroid belt. It is often imagined as a crowded field of tumbling rocks. But in reality, it is mostly empty. The asteroids are spread so far apart that a spacecraft can pass through without ever coming close to one. The distances between them are vast, far greater than most people expect. Even in a region filled with millions of objects, emptiness still dominates. Space continues to be what it has always been. Quiet, open, protective. Beyond the asteroid belt, the distances grow even larger. Jupiter orbits the Sun at about 5 times the distance of Earth. Saturn lies even farther out, nearly twice as far again. And between all of these worlds, there is space. Calm, steady, undisturbed space, stretching outward in every direction. Uranus lies about twice as far from the Sun as Saturn, and Neptune drifts even farther still. Between these distant giants, there is almost nothing. Vast stretches of cold, quiet space extend for millions of miles. Occasionally, a comet passes through, or a fragment left over from the early solar system drifts silently by. But most of the time, there is only darkness, stillness, and a deep, unbroken calm. Beyond Neptune, the emptiness becomes even more profound. There is a region known as the Kuiper Belt, home to small, icy worlds left behind from the formation of the solar system. Pluto resides there, along with thousands of other distant objects. And yet, even here, the objects are separated by immense distances. Millions of miles of space lie between them, leaving the region far more empty than it first appears. And beyond the Kuiper Belt lies something even more distant. The Oort cloud. This is a vast shell of icy bodies surrounding our entire solar system. It may extend nearly 2 light-years from the Sun, reaching almost halfway to the nearest star. It forms the outermost boundary of our solar system, a quiet frontier before interstellar space truly begins. But even the Oort cloud, despite containing perhaps trillions of icy objects, is still mostly empty. The distances are so great that each object drifts alone, surrounded by its own region of silence. If you were there, you would see almost nothing. The Sun would appear as just another bright star among many. and the nearest piece of ice would be unimaginably far away. This is the true nature of our universe. Even in places that seem filled with objects, emptiness dominates. Space itself is what defines everything. It creates room for motion, room for stability, room for existence to unfold without constant disruption. And that is not something harsh or unfriendly. It is something deeply peaceful. Now let us gently shift our attention to the stars themselves. Not to focus on their power, but on their quiet presence when viewed from a safe distance. There is a nearby star called Tau Ceti. Located about 12 light-years from Earth, it is slightly smaller and cooler than our Sun. An orange dwarf that shines with a steady and gentle light. Tau Ceti has several planets orbiting it. At least 5 that we have been able to detect. Some of these worlds may exist within a region where temperatures could allow liquid water to form. And Tau Ceti itself has been shining for around 10 billion years. More than twice the current age of our Sun. For all that time, it has remained stable, quietly illuminating its surroundings. 10 billion years of patience. 10 billion years of steady light. And between that star and us, 12 light-years of empty space. 12 light-years of distance that keeps everything calm and separate. If something unusual were ever to happen there, any effect would take 12 years to reach us. Even that nearest neighbor remains far beyond any immediate concern. Or consider another nearby star, Epsilon Eridani, about 10 light-years away. It is younger than our Sun, only around 800 million years old. It still carries a disk of debris from its formation, and at least one large planet orbits within that system. Over time, it may settle into a more stable structure, perhaps even becoming a place where life could one day emerge. All of this unfolds quietly, far from us. Separated by that same gentle distance, the stars around us are neighbors in the broadest sense. But even the closest are unimaginably far away. Light itself needs years to travel between them. Communication would take generations. The cosmic neighborhood is quiet, spacious, and undisturbed. It is the kind of place where everything can exist without interference, where each system remains in its own space, following its own path. And within that vast arrangement, we are here, orbiting a steady star, held safely in our small and peaceful region. Let that feeling settle in. The sense that nothing is rushing toward you, nothing is breaking through the silence. The distances are too great, the emptiness too complete. You are safe, held within layers of quiet separation that keep everything in balance. Now let your body rest even more deeply. Let that safety feel real, like being gently carried on a calm ocean, with no waves to disturb you. The universe continues its slow, steady motion, watching over everything without urgency. And as you drift, let us return once more to the idea of time. Not the time measured by clocks, but the deeper time of the cosmos. The universe itself is about 13.8 billion years old. A number so vast it almost dissolves into abstraction, stretching far beyond ordinary experience. What does 13.8 billion years feel like? What does it mean to exist inside a cosmos that old? Here is one way to gently imagine it. Picture the entire history of the universe, from the beginning to this very moment, compressed into a single calendar year. January 1st marks the birth of the universe. December 31st is now. In this quiet cosmic calendar, the first stars do not appear until the middle of January. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, begins to take shape sometime around March. Our Sun and its family of planets do not arrive until early September. Life on Earth does not begin until late September. The dinosaurs appear near the end of December, and humans, we arrive in the final moments of the final day. All of recorded human history unfolds within the last fraction of a second before midnight. That is how young we are. That is how much time has passed before we even appeared. For almost the entire history of the universe, everything moved forward in silence and darkness. Slowly, patiently, without us. And yet, here we are now, just beginning to notice, just beginning to understand. And the most beautiful part is this: the story is not ending. It is only beginning. The universe still has immense stretches of time ahead. Our sun will continue to shine for another 5 billion years. The Milky Way will turn for trillions of years. The last stars may continue to glow for spans of time so long they almost lose meaning. Time stretches forward like an endless path, disappearing into a future we cannot yet imagine. And throughout all that time, the emptiness will remain. The distances will remain. The quiet structure of the universe will continue to give life the space it needs to grow and change and become something new. You are part of that unfolding story. Not at the end, but at the very beginning of a long, open chapter. Everything that will come next, every discovery, every question, every moment of understanding, still lies ahead. And for now, you are allowed to rest. You can close your eyes and let your body settle. You can let go of the weight of the day. The universe is not rushing you. It is not demanding anything from you. There is time. There is always time. Sleep is often compared to a small ending, but it is also a quiet beginning. Each night allows you to release what you no longer need. Each morning offers a chance to begin again. The darkness is not something to resist. It is something that holds you, something that restores you, something that prepares you for what comes next. So let the night carry you now. Let yourself sink gently into that calm. There is nothing to fear here. Only stillness. Only peace. And as you drift, I want to share one more quiet truth about the universe. There is a faint glow that fills all of space. Something known as the cosmic microwave background. It is the oldest light we can observe. A soft remnant from the earliest moments of the universe. In the beginning, everything was hot and dense. So tightly packed that light could not travel freely. It moved only short distances before being scattered again and again. But as the universe expanded, it cooled. About 380,000 years after the beginning, atoms were finally able to form. And in that moment, light was set free. That light has been traveling ever since, spreading outward in every direction, slowly stretched by the expansion of space itself. What was once bright, visible light has been transformed into a faint background glow, now detectable as microwaves filling the entire cosmos. Scientists have studied this glow in remarkable detail. It is almost perfectly uniform, nearly the same in every direction, with only the smallest variations. And this tells us something important. On the larger scales, the universe is calm, it is balanced, it is consistent. There are no special places, no central point, just vast stretches of space, gently filled with galaxies, extending outward in every direction. And within that quiet structure, the ancient light continues to travel, carrying no message, no signal, no sign of anything calling back. The universe has been whispering since its beginning, and still, it remains silent. Not an empty silence, but a deep and patient one. A silence that leaves room for something new to emerge. Listen to that quiet now. Beneath the small sounds around you, beneath your own breathing, there is something deeper, a stillness that stretches across unimaginable distances. A calm that separates you from anything that might disturb your rest. That quiet has always been there. And tonight, it is still holding you. Gently, patiently, exactly where you are meant to be. The universe is empty. Vast beyond anything the mind can truly grasp. Billions of light years of quiet, stretching endlessly in every direction. At first, that idea feels unsettling, as if we are drifting through an ocean of darkness, separated from even the nearest star by distances so immense that our entire planet becomes less than a grain of dust. It can feel lonely. It can feel cold. But tonight, as your body begins to soften and your breath slows down, I want to offer you a different way to see it. Because that silence is not something to fear. It is a gift, a quiet shield, a gentle space that keeps everything safe. The emptiness of space is the reason you can rest tonight. The reason you can close your eyes and drift into sleep, knowing that you exist in one of the most protected corners of the cosmos. So now, let us begin this slow journey. Imagine yourself standing on a quiet beach at night. The sand is cool beneath your feet. The air is still. Above you, the sky stretches endlessly, filled with distant points of light, each one separated by unimaginable distances, each one quietly existing in its own space. What does 13 billion years feel like? What does it mean to exist inside something that old? One way to understand it is to imagine compressing the entire history of the universe into a single calendar year. January 1st marks the Big Bang. December 31st is today. On that scale, the first stars do not appear until mid-January. The Milky Way forms sometime in March. Our Sun and solar system do not come into existence until early September. Life on Earth begins near the end of September. Dinosaurs arrive late in December. And humans, we appear in the final seconds before midnight, on December 31st. All of recorded human history fits into a fraction of a second before the year ends. That is how brief our presence is. That is how long the universe existed without us. For billions of years, it remained mostly silent, mostly dark, mostly empty, and we have only just arrived. But here is the quiet beauty in that. The story is not ending. It is just beginning. The universe still has billions of years ahead. Our sun will shine for another 5 billion years. The Milky Way will continue turning for trillions of years. The final stars will not fade for timescales so vast they are almost impossible to imagine. Time stretches forward like an endless road disappearing into the horizon. And through all of it, the emptiness remains. The distances stay wide. The quiet continues. The same silence that has always existed will continue to protect, to separate, to create space for life to grow without interference. You are here at the beginning of something, not the end. Everything that comes next, every discovery, every story, every moment is still ahead. And tonight, you get to rest inside that story. You get to close your eyes and allow your body to recover. Sleep is often compared to a small ending, but it is also a small beginning. Each time you wake, you begin again. Each night is a chance to let go, to release the weight of the day, to sink into the quiet and allow it to hold you. The darkness is not something that threatens you. It is something that restores you. It is the space that allows everything to reset. Now, let that darkness carry you gently. There is nothing here to fear. Only stillness. Only calm. There is a phenomenon that reveals just how quiet our universe truly is. It is called the cosmic microwave background, the oldest light in existence. In the very early universe, everything was hot and dense, packed so tightly that light could barely move. The universe was opaque, like being inside a glowing fog. But as it expanded, it cooled. About 380,000 years after the beginning, atoms formed, and suddenly light was free. It began traveling in every direction, filling the cosmos. That light is still with us today. It has stretched as the universe expanded, shifting into microwaves, but it remains everywhere. A faint glow filling all of space. Scientists have mapped it in incredible detail. And what they found is something remarkable. It is almost perfectly uniform. The temperature is nearly the same in every direction, with only the smallest variations. This tells us that, on the largest scales, the universe is the same everywhere. No special center, no preferred direction, just vast, open space filled with galaxies scattered across an immense, quiet backdrop. And when scientists listen to this ancient signal, they do not hear voices. They do not find messages. Only a faint, steady hiss, the echo of the universe's birth, continuing for nearly 14 billion years, with no reply. That silence is profound. It is not empty in a frightening way. It is empty in a peaceful way, like a blank page waiting to be written, like a deep breath held gently across time. And if you listen closely now, beneath the sounds around you, beneath your own breathing, there is a deeper quiet, a stillness that has always been there. The quiet of space, the quiet of distance, the quiet of billions of light years separating you from anything that could ever disturb you. That quiet is not absence. It is protection. It is the background rhythm of existence. Let yourself notice it now. Close your eyes. Listen. Feel your body sinking deeper into stillness. Feel that vast emptiness wrapping around you like a soft blanket. There is nothing you need to do. Nowhere you need to go. You are exactly where you are meant to be. You are home. You are safe. The universe is holding you. Now imagine a place far beyond Neptune, in a distant region called the scattered disk. Out there, icy objects drift slowly through space, following long, gentle orbits that can take hundreds or even thousands of years to complete. If you stood on one of those distant worlds, the sun would appear as just another bright star. The temperature would be unimaginably cold. Nothing would move. Nothing would change. Only silence. Only stillness, stretching across eons. And, yet, there is a strange peace in that. These objects have remained undisturbed for billions of years. No storms, no chaos, no sudden changes, just quiet preservation. Like a memory frozen in time. They are reminders of how calm the universe can be. And they are still there now, drifting slowly as you rest. Millions of distant bodies, each one moving gently through space, untouched by anything except time itself. Even closer to home, our solar system has settled into stability. The violent early days are long gone. For billions of years, the planets have followed steady paths around the sun. Everything has found its place. Occasionally, something unusual happens. A comet passes through. An asteroid crosses a path. But these events are rare. Extremely rare. You are living inside a system that has been stable for longer than human imagination can easily comprehend. A system that moves with quiet precision. Moment after moment. Year after year. There is a deep comfort in that. A quiet assurance that everything is working exactly as it should. And sometimes, if the night is dark enough and the world is still, you might see a faint glow rising from the horizon. The zodiacal light. a soft triangle of brightness created by sunlight reflecting off tiny dust particles drifting through space. These particles are smaller than a strand of hair, moving slowly, gently, forming a delicate cloud around the sun. It is one of the most subtle sights in the sky. Easy to miss, but when you see it, it feels like a whisper from the universe. A reminder that even the smallest things move in calm, steady patterns. That everything, from the largest galaxies to the tiniest grains of dust, exists within this same quiet order. And now, as you continue to drift, let that thought settle in. The universe is not chaotic in the way it first appears. It is spacious. It is patient. It is calm. And within that vast calm, you are here, breathing, resting, slowly letting go. There is nothing you need to hold on to anymore tonight. Just allow the quiet to carry you. Let it soften your thoughts. Let it slow your mind. And as the silence deepens, you may begin to feel yourself drifting further and further away from the noise of the day, into a place where everything is still, everything is calm, and everything is exactly as it should be. They pose no threat to anything. They simply drift, catching sunlight and reflecting it gently back into the vast darkness. Like tiny lanterns, each one carrying a soft fragment of the sun's glow and releasing it quietly into the void. There is something deeply calming about the zodiacal light. It reminds us that the universe is not only made of supernovas, black holes, and violent events. Sometimes, it is just dust and sunlight and stillness. Sometimes, it is gentle beyond words. And right now, you are surrounded by that gentleness. The same sun that creates that faint glow is the sun that warmed your skin today. The same solar system that holds those drifting grains of dust is the one that carries your world in a steady, graceful orbit. You are not in a harsh universe. You are in a quiet one, a balanced one, a place where everything moves slowly, softly, predictably. Let that feeling settle into you. Let it move through your body, easing every muscle, softening every thought. Let it slow your breathing, calm your heart, and prepare you for a deeper, more peaceful sleep than you have felt in a long time. The universe is gentle. The universe is kind. It is holding you now, in a vast embrace of darkness, starlight, and perfect silence. Drift now. Drift a little deeper. Let me bring your attention back to the galaxies. Not the chaotic ones at the crowded centers of clusters, but the quiet ones, the slow spirals turning in the dark like enormous, glowing pinwheels. The small, irregular galaxies drifting without urgency, without direction, simply existing. The massive ellipticals, ancient and settled, long past their turbulent youth, resting in a kind of cosmic stillness after billions of years of change. Our own Milky Way is one of those spirals. Its arms stretch outward in long, graceful curves of stars, gas, and dust, wrapping around a bright central core like the slow motion of a whirlpool. Our sun sits quietly within one of those arms. About halfway from the center, we are moving along that curve right now, carried gently through space. Part of a motion so slow it feels almost like stillness. The sun takes about 230 million years to complete a single orbit around the galaxy. One galactic year. In all of human history, in all the time life has existed on Earth, the sun has completed only around 20 of these vast journeys. We are still early in that motion, still quietly circling, still carried along without interruption, without urgency. The spiral arms themselves are not solid structures. They are more like gentle waves, regions where stars gather briefly before continuing on. Sometimes our sun moves through these regions, surrounded by slightly denser starlight. Other times, it drifts between them, where space is even quieter, even more open. But the movement never becomes chaotic. It never becomes dangerous. It remains smooth. It remains calm. There is something almost hypnotic about this. The idea that our entire solar system is just one small point of light, slowly turning within a galaxy that itself is moving through an even larger universe. Everything rotating, everything drifting, everything following quiet paths shaped by gravity and time. We are not rushing anywhere. We are not late. We are not lost. We are simply moving, slowly and steadily, as we always have, safe within a system that has been stable for billions of years. And beyond our galaxy, there are countless others, trillions of them, scattered across the observable universe, each one following its own gentle motion, some alone in the darkness, others gathered loosely in groups. But even then, the distances between them remain vast. The silence remains dominant. Yes, galaxies sometimes meet. Our Milky Way will one day merge with Andromeda, billions of years from now. But even that is not violent in the way we imagine. The stars within those galaxies will almost never collide. The distances between them are too great. Too much empty space. These events are not crashes. They are slow, graceful dances. Two enormous systems passing through one another like clouds. Stars drifting by like distant ships in the night. Barely touching. Barely noticing. Even at its most dramatic, the universe remains soft. Peace is not the exception. It is the rule. Emptiness is not a flaw. It is the design. The universe, for all its scale and complexity, is fundamentally quiet. A place where things exist side by side without interference. A place where distance protects. Where silence preserves. And you are part of that. You are not separate from this calm. You are inside it. A small, perfect piece of a vast and peaceful whole. You belong here. This is your home. And your home is stable. It is quiet. It is warm. Let that understanding settle in. Let it replace every lingering worry. Every restless thought. There is nothing you need to solve tonight. Nothing you need to carry any further. Everything can wait. Everything will still be there tomorrow. For now, there is only this moment. This stillness, this quiet. And you can simply let go. The universe has been at peace for 14 billion years. It can hold on to that peace for just one more night, while you rest. So sleep now. The cosmos is watching over you. Let me take you a little further out. Beyond galaxies. Beyond everything familiar. Into the space between galaxy clusters. This is the deepest emptiness that exists. The true void. The quietest room in all of reality. Galaxy clusters are vast gatherings of hundreds, sometimes thousands of galaxies, all bound together by gravity. They are the largest structures in the universe that still hold themselves together. But between these immense structures, there is almost nothing. This region is called the intergalactic medium. And in some places, it is so empty that there is less than one atom in an entire cubic meter of space. Just one. The air you breathe contains an almost unimaginable number of molecules in the same volume. And yet, out there is almost nothing at all. Emptiness on a scale that the mind struggles to fully grasp. If you were somehow there, floating in that vastness. Looking in every direction, you might see nothing. No stars. No light. Just darkness stretching endlessly outward. And yes, at first, that idea can feel overwhelming. The thought of being completely alone, surrounded by nothing. But there is another way to understand it. The intergalactic void is the quietest place that exists. No disturbances. No noise. No chaos. Just perfect stillness. A calm so complete it would feel almost sacred. Everything that feels loud, fast, or overwhelming would be impossibly far away. It would be like being wrapped in silence itself, protected by distance, shielded by emptiness, held in the most perfect stillness the universe can offer. We do not live there. Of course, we live within a galaxy, orbiting a star, but that void is still out there. It surrounds us, like an ocean surrounds an island, and it is that vast emptiness that protects us. Somewhere, far beyond our reach, galaxies are colliding, stars are being torn apart. Black holes are merging in events so powerful they ripple through space itself. But between us and all of that, there is distance. There is emptiness. Layer upon layer of quiet nothing, absorbing the noise, softening the violence, keeping our small corner of the universe calm and undisturbed. The void is not something to fear. It is a shield, a boundary, a quiet guardian. It is the space that keeps everything separated, everything safe. And maybe tonight, it can teach you something. When your thoughts feel crowded, when the noise of the day lingers too long, remember that silence exists, not as an absence, but as a space you can step into, a space where everything slows down. You do not need to become empty. Just allow a little more space inside your mind, a little more quiet between your thoughts, enough to rest, enough to breathe. Let that quiet grow gently now. Now, imagine a small, unremarkable patch of sky in the constellation Virgo. No bright stars. No obvious features. Just darkness. In the mid-1990s, scientists pointed the Hubble Space Telescope at that exact spot and left it there for 10 days, collecting the faintest light it could detect. And what they found changed everything. That tiny patch of darkness, no larger than a grain of sand held at arm's length, contained nearly 3,000 galaxies. Not stars, entire galaxies. Each one holding hundreds of billions of stars, each separated by vast distances of empty space. This image became known as the Hubble Deep Field, and it revealed something profound. Space may be mostly empty, but within that emptiness exists an almost unimaginable abundance of structure. Galaxies upon galaxies, stretching beyond anything we can fully comprehend. And yet, even with all of that, the emptiness still dominates. Between those galaxies, there is still the vast quiet, the cosmic web, with thin strands of matter surrounding enormous bubbles of nothing. The emptiness is not losing. It is shaping everything. It is giving structure room to exist. It is allowing distance, allowing separation, allowing peace. Those thousands of galaxies are each living their own quiet story, separated by distances so vast that most will never meet. Each one an island, surrounded by an infinite ocean of silence. And you are on one of those islands, on a small world, orbiting a quiet star, inside a galaxy that has carried you gently through space for billions of years. Between you and everything else, there is distance, layer upon layer of calm, protective emptiness, Let that thought settle in. Let it ease whatever remains of tension in your body. You are exactly where you need to be. You are safe. You are home. The universe is vast beyond measure, but it is also kind in ways we rarely stop to notice. It has created just enough space, just enough distance, just enough stillness for life to exist quietly and safely. So tonight, let yourself appreciate that. Appreciate the silence. Appreciate the darkness. Appreciate the space that surrounds you and holds you gently in place. And then, slowly, let go. Let your awareness drift. Let your thoughts fade into the background. There is no urgency, no pressure, only time, endless time, and you are floating softly within it. Let me tell you something beautiful. When stars reach the end of their lives, they do not simply disappear. A massive star can explode in a supernova, scattering its material across space. Over time, that material expands, cools, and settles into delicate clouds of gas and dust. These are called supernova remnants, and they are among the most beautiful things in the universe. They expand slowly, over thousands of years, forming intricate patterns that look almost like living structures. Soft filaments of glowing gas, drifting outward, gradually becoming still. Even in death, the universe moves toward calm, toward balance, toward quiet. Colors shift gently from blue to green to soft pink and deep red, depending on the elements present and the temperature within the cloud. Each remnant is unique, like a fingerprint left behind by a star that once burned brightly, a quiet memorial to something that once filled space with light. And yet, despite their beauty, these remnants are incredibly sparse. Even in their densest regions, they contain only a few atoms within a cubic centimeter. That may sound like something, but compared to anything solid, it is almost nothing at all. These vast structures are more like a delicate mist, spread so thin that you could pass through them without ever noticing they were there. The Crab Nebula is one of the most well-known examples. It was created when a massive star ended its life in an explosion. Recorded by observers on Earth nearly 1,000 years ago. At the time, the light was so bright it could be seen even during the day. Today, that remnant has expanded across a region about 11 light-years wide. And within all that space, all that glowing structure, there is still not enough material to form even a single star. It is breathtaking, and it is almost empty. It reminds us of something important. Even the most powerful events in the universe do not remain violent forever. They soften, they expand, they fade into quiet. The explosion is sudden, but what follows is calm. The energy disperses, the structure relaxes, the universe returns. Once again, to stillness. And from that stillness, something new begins. The material left behind drifts through space for millions of years, slowly gathering, slowly forming new clouds. Under gravity, those clouds begin to collapse. They grow denser, warmer, more focused, until eventually, new stars are born. Around those stars, planets form, and on some of those planets, life begins. You are part of that process. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen in every breath you take, all of it was once inside a star. All of it was created in the final moments of something that ended long ago. You are made of stardust. You are the quiet continuation of something that once burned with unimaginable intensity. And that means something. It means that even chaos has purpose. Even endings lead somewhere. The universe does not simply destroy, it transforms. It takes what was and reshapes it into what will be. So, whatever feels heavy in your life right now, whatever feels uncertain or overwhelming, it too will change. It too will soften. It too will become something else. Something calmer. Something clearer. The universe has been doing this for 14 billion years. It knows how to move from chaos into peace. And you are part of that same rhythm. Right now, somewhere far away, new stars are forming. Clouds of gas and dust are slowly collapsing under their own weight. Growing warmer, denser, preparing to ignite. A new star is being born. And in time, that star may have planets. And on one of those planets, there may be life. And that life may one day look up at the sky, just as you have, and wonder what else is out there. The cycle continues. The dance goes on. Creation and stillness. Movement and rest. All wrapped inside the vast quiet of space. And tonight, you are part of that quiet. You are allowed to step out of the motion for a while. To rest. To let your body recover. To let your thoughts slow down. The universe will continue without you for a few hours. Everything will still be there when you wake. So now, just drift. Let the darkness hold you. Let the silence carry you gently forward. And as you rest, far beyond Earth, something continues its own quiet journey. Voyager 1, the most distant object humanity has ever created. Launched in the late 1970s, it has been traveling outward for decades, moving steadily into the unknown. It passed Jupiter, then Saturn, sending back images that forever changed how we see those worlds. And then it kept going, leaving behind the familiar, moving into regions no human-made object had ever reached before. In the early 2010s, it crossed the boundary of our solar system and entered interstellar space, the true void between stars. Today, it is more than 15 billion miles from Earth, so far away that even light, traveling at its ultimate speed, takes more than 20 hours to reach it. And what has it found out there? Mostly nothing. Cold, dark space. A few scattered particles, the faint whisper of ancient radiation. The same quiet emptiness we have been talking about all night. Voyager carries with it a golden record. A small disk filled with sounds, images, and greetings from Earth. Voices in many languages, music from different cultures, moments of life captured and sent outward into the vast unknown. The chances of it ever being found are almost unimaginably small. The distances are too vast. The universe is too empty. But that was never really the point. The point is that we reached out, that we looked into the darkness and chose not to fear it. We chose to send something of ourselves into it. And even now, as you lie here, slowly drifting towards sleep, Voyager continues its journey, moving outward, quietly, steadily. It will never return. It will travel for billions of years, long after Earth has changed, long after the sun itself has faded. Still moving, still carrying a small piece of us into the endless calm of the universe. In a way, Voyager 1 is proof that emptiness is not something to fear. We sent a small piece of ourselves into the deepest void we could reach. And it continues on. Quietly, steadily, without harm. The darkness did not swallow it. The silence did not erase it. It remains intact, still carrying its message of curiosity and hope into the endless night. And if something so small, so fragile, created by human hands, can endure in that vast emptiness, then so can you. You can make it through this night. You can move through whatever is ahead of you, one step at a time, just as it does. The void is not something that threatens you. It is something that invites you, something that allows you to drift, to rest, to let go. Tonight, you can explore that quiet in your own way, not by traveling through space, but by turning inward, by closing your eyes and allowing your thoughts to slow down. You can imagine yourself floating alongside Voyager, moving gently through the interstellar medium, surrounded by complete stillness. Feel that stillness now. Let it move through your body. Let it soften your thoughts. Let it carry you. Sleep, in its own way, is a journey into the void. A quiet departure from the noise of the waking world. A slow drift into a place where everything becomes softer, quieter, less defined. And just like that distant spacecraft, you will return, rested, renewed, changed in small, gentle ways. So begin your journey. Let your eyes close. Let the weight of the day fall away behind you, growing smaller and smaller, like a distant world fading into the dark. Let the quiet gather around you. Warm, soft, protective. You are drifting now, outward, upward, into stillness, into peace, into a calm that has always been waiting for you. And as you drift, notice something else. Space is not only dark, it has its own gentle colors. Not the intense flashes of explosions, but soft, subtle light that fills the cosmos when you look closely enough. There is something called diffuse galactic light. It is created by countless distant stars, each too faint to see on its own, but together forming a soft glow that fills our galaxy. If you could remove the bright stars and look only at this background light, the Milky Way would appear not as scattered points, but as a smooth, quiet radiance, like a distant nightlight, glowing gently in the dark. It is incredibly faint, almost impossible to see, but it is there, filling the space between stars with a soft presence, a reminder that even in emptiness, there is always a trace of light. There is also a faint glow that appears in the sky opposite the sun, caused by sunlight reflecting off distant dust in the outer regions of our solar system. It is even more subtle, so delicate that most people never notice it. But it exists, quietly illuminating the darkness in ways that are easy to miss unless you are looking carefully. And beyond that, there is the combined light of distant galaxies. Light from billions upon billions of stars, too far away to be seen individually, yet together creating a faint brightness across the sky. A background glow built from the entire history of the universe. All of these gentle lights come together to form something remarkable. The universe is never completely dark. Even in the deepest void, there is always a faint presence of light, stretched thin, softened by distance, but never entirely gone. This is something you can hold on to. Darkness is never absolute. There is always something within it. A quiet glow, a distant presence, a soft reminder that light exists, even when it is barely visible. And right now, as you lie here, you are surrounded by that light. Not the bright lights of the world, but something older, softer, more subtle. Photons that have traveled across billions of years, passing through everything, reaching you without effort. You cannot see them, but they are there. And in some quiet way, your body feels that you are not lying in darkness. You are resting inside the combined light of countless stars. dim beyond perception, but real. Always present, always reaching you. You are wrapped in light that began its journey before Earth even existed, touched by a universe that has been shining for billions of years. And if the universe itself can never become completely dark, then neither can your life. No matter how things may feel, there is always some small light that remains, some quiet hope that does not disappear. Hold on to that as you drift. Let it become your nightlight. Let it guide you gently into sleep. Now, there is one more idea to explore. A quiet question that has been present throughout this journey. Why is the universe so empty in the first place? Why is there so much space between everything? The answer begins at the very start. Long ago, everything that exists was compressed into an incredibly small, denser state. All matter, all energy, everything that would ever become stars and galaxies and worlds, contained within something our minds can barely imagine. And then, space itself began to expand. Not objects moving through space, but space itself stretching. Imagine small points drawn on the surface of a balloon. As the balloon expands, the points move apart. Not because they are traveling, but because the surface itself is growing. That is what happened to the universe, and it has been expanding ever since. For 14 billion years, space has continued to stretch, carrying everything with it, slowly increasing the distance between galaxies, gently creating the vast emptiness that surrounds us. And that emptiness is what allows everything else to exist in peace. The void has been deepening. The emptiness has been expanding. That is why the universe feels so vast today. It began incredibly dense, and over time it has stretched itself thinner and thinner, spreading everything out into the quiet distances we now observe. If you could somehow watch the universe unfold across unimaginable spans of time, trillions upon trillions of years, you would see that emptiness gradually becomes dominant. Galaxies would drift farther and farther apart until each one exists alone, isolated within its own observable horizon. The stars would eventually fade. Matter itself would decay. And in the far future, all that remains would be cold. Silent space stretching endlessly in every direction. At first, that thought may seem unsettling. A universe that slowly quiets instead of ending in a dramatic event. But we are nowhere near that distant future. We are at the very beginning of the story. The stars are still shining. Galaxies still fill the sky. Life is still possible. And it will remain possible for an almost incomprehensible length of time. The emptiness we see today is not a sign of decline. It is what makes everything possible. If the universe were too dense, everything would be chaotic. If it were too empty, nothing would ever form. Instead, it has reached a perfect balance. Enough matter to create stars and planets and life, and enough space to allow them to exist peacefully. You are living in that balance. A rare moment in cosmic history where the universe is calm enough to be safe, yet rich enough to be meaningful. The distances between stars are wide enough to protect us, but close enough to inspire curiosity and imagination. Take a moment to appreciate that. This exact moment, this precise arrangement of matter and emptiness, is what allows you to be here. It will not last forever. Nothing does. But it has lasted long enough for you to exist, to listen, to wonder. And that is something quiet and extraordinary. Now, imagine a nearby star, a small one, dim and steady. Known as Barnard's star, it lies only a few light years away, glowing faintly with a soft red light. It is much smaller than our sun, and far older. It has been burning quietly for around 10 billion years, far longer than our sun has existed. And during all that time, it has done almost nothing dramatic. It has simply continued, steadily, patiently, converting hydrogen into helium, radiating a gentle warmth into the surrounding darkness. No explosions, no sudden changes, just quiet persistence across immense time. There may even be a planet orbiting it. A distant world that has spent billions of years circling its star in silence. A place where time moves slowly, where nothing rushes, where everything simply exists. Or consider another nearby star, even smaller and dimmer, a faint red dwarf that produces only a whisper of light. Stars like this can last for trillions of years, far outliving our Sun. Long after our solar system has changed beyond recognition, these small stars will still be shining, quietly, steadily, unchanged. They are the true survivors of the cosmos. Not powerful, not dramatic, but enduring, stable, patient, and around them, not much happens. Just slow orbits, gradual cooling, time passing almost unnoticed. A kind of peace that stretches beyond imagination. Even our own solar system, when seen from this wider perspective, is remarkably calm. Yes, life on Earth can feel chaotic. There are storms, changes, challenges. But from a cosmic point of view, we are living in extraordinary stability. A steady star, predictable orbits, no nearby catastrophic events, no overwhelming radiation, just a quiet journey around the Sun, repeated again and again for billions of years. We often forget how fortunate that is. The universe could have placed us anywhere. Near unstable stars, near violent regions of the galaxy, in environments where life would never have had the chance to begin. But instead, we are here, in a quiet region, protected by distance, shielded by emptiness, given just the right conditions to exist, to grow, to think. Take a moment to feel that. Not as an abstract idea, but as something real, a quiet sense of gratitude, rising gently within you. You are here against extraordinary odds, alive, aware, capable of understanding, even in small ways, the vast universe that surrounds you. You are something rare, something remarkable. You are the universe becoming aware of itself. And tonight, you get to rest inside that awareness. You get to release the effort, release the tension, release everything that has followed you through the day. Let it go now. The universe will hold you. The emptiness will support you. You are safe here. You have always been safe. Let yourself drift a little deeper. Now, there is another way to understand emptiness. Not just as space, but as meaning. In many ways, we are taught to see emptiness as something lacking, something that needs to be filled. An empty room, an empty space, an empty moment. But there is another perspective, one that sees emptiness not as absence, but as possibility. In some traditions, emptiness is the source of everything, the space from which all forms arise and to which they eventually return. It is not a problem to solve, but a condition to appreciate, and the universe reflects that idea. The space between stars is not wasted space. It is what allows stars to exist at all. Without emptiness, there would be no structure, no separation, no room for complexity or life. The same is true within you. When your mind becomes quiet, space opens for clarity. When your schedule softens, Space opens for rest. When your thoughts slow down, space opens for peace. Emptiness is not your enemy. It is what allows everything else to take shape. And tonight, as you move towards sleep, you are creating that space within yourself. You are letting go of the noise, releasing the weight of the day, allowing your mind to become quieter, softer, more open. You are becoming, for a little while, like the universe itself, spacious, calm, still. This is not loss. This is not absence. This is returning to something deeper, something fundamental. The universe is mostly empty, and in sleep, you gently return to that same quiet state. You join the great void. You become part of the cosmic silence. Somewhere deep within you, there is a quiet recognition of what it was like before you were born, and what it may be like long after you are gone. Not frightening, not sad, just still, just peaceful, a gentle continuation of existence, carrying you softly, like a boat drifting along a calm and endless river, asking nothing from you but surrender. So surrender now. Let go of the effort. There is nothing to control, nothing to solve, nothing to understand in this moment. Just allow yourself to relax and be carried. The universe has been doing this for 14 billion years. It knows how to guide you through the night. Trust the quiet. Trust the stillness. Trust the vast emptiness that has always been your home. Now, let your thoughts drift toward the future. Not tomorrow, not next week, but the deep future, the long arc of time stretching forward across billions and trillions of years. A future shaped by silence, by stillness, by the slow fading of all the fires that now light the cosmos. And yet, it is more beautiful than it first appears. Right now, the universe is in what scientists call the age of stars. New stars are still forming in great clouds of gas and dust. Old stars continue to burn, filling the night sky with points of light. This era has lasted for around 14 billion years, and it will continue for a very long time. But eventually, the formation of new stars will slow and then stop. The raw material will become too spread out, too thin to collapse again. The last generation of stars will form, and after that, no more will be born. From that moment on, the universe will begin to grow quieter. The smallest stars, the red dwarfs, will be the last to remain. They burn slowly, patiently, for trillions of years, long after our sun has faded, long after brighter stars have disappeared. These dim red lights will still glow in the darkness, but even they will not last forever. One by one, they will fade, and the universe will enter a new phase, a time when only the remnants of stars remain, cooling, drifting, settling into stillness. At first, this might feel like loss, but look at it differently. This is the universe reaching a state of perfect calm. No more explosions, no more chaos, only quiet, only rest. The universe is not ending, it is resting. After billions upon billions of years of activity, it will finally grow still, like a long breath released, like a mind finally at ease. And in a quiet way, every night, you practice this. When you close your eyes and drift into sleep, you experience a small version of that same stillness. A gentle pause, a temporary release, and when you wake, you return again, refreshed, renewed, ready to continue. For now, you are here, In this moment, in this era where stars still shine, where warmth still exists, where life still moves and grows and wonders, you get to look at the night sky and see light. You get to feel warmth on your skin. You get to be alive in a time when the universe is still bright. And maybe that is what makes it so meaningful. Nothing lasts forever. And because of that, everything matters a little more. Every moment, every breath, every quiet second like this one, right now. Your body is alive with energy. Your heart is beating. Your thoughts are slowly fading into calm. You are a small flame in a vast universe filled with light. And one day, like all flames, you will rest. But not tonight. Tonight, you are still here. Still breathing. Still gently drifting towards sleep. Let that thought warm you. You are part of something vast. Something ancient. Something ongoing. And you are allowed to rest within it. Now let that warmth fade into softness. Let your thoughts become lighter. Let everything slow down. And as you drift deeper, there is one final idea to consider. A quiet possibility. What if we are alone? What if this small world, this fragile blue planet, is the only place where awareness has emerged, the only place where the universe has learned to look at itself and ask questions? Think about how many things had to align for you to exist. A stable star, the right distance, liquid water, a protective atmosphere, a steady climate, a long, uninterrupted history. Each step unlikely, each moment delicate, and yet, all of it happened. You are here, alive, aware, thinking, wondering. If this is the only place where that has happened, then that does not make the universe lonely. It makes it extraordinary. It means that this small world carries something rare beyond measure. Something precious. Something worth protecting. You are not insignificant. You are part of the universe becoming aware of itself. You are the silence learning to listen. You are the emptiness learning to feel. And tonight, you are allowed to rest inside that realization. The responsibility to appreciate existence, to preserve it, to carry its memory forward into whatever future awaits may sound vast, almost impossible to grasp. But in this quiet moment, you do not need to carry it all at once. Because you might be one of the very few conscious beings in a universe so immense it defies comprehension. And every thought you think, every feeling you feel, every dream you dream may be among the rarest events in all of existence. Your consciousness is not ordinary. It is extraordinary. A small but undeniable light in the darkness that may exist nowhere else. And as you drift deeper into stillness, let that thought lift you gently. You are not small. You are not insignificant. You are unique. You are precious. Shaped through billions of years of cosmic evolution. And now here you are. Aware. Present. Quietly witnessing your own existence. A strange and beautiful miracle unfolding in silence. So treasure that. Not with tension, but with softness. Treasure your awareness. Your ability to think, to feel, to wonder. Because these things may be rarer than anything else scattered across the cosmos. Rarer than matter. Rarer than energy arranged just right. And yet they are yours. Completely yours. Impossible to take away. Let that realization settle slowly as your mind begins to loosen its grip. As your body sinks a little deeper into rest. As your breathing becomes softer and more even. And from that calm place, we can gently shift our attention outward. Away from the abstract and into something closer. Something quietly reassuring. The way the emptiness itself protects you right here. In your own solar system, near-Earth objects, asteroids and comets that pass close to our planet, are constantly observed, tracked, and understood with remarkable precision. Thousands of them move through space in silent orbits, their paths calculated years, even decades in advance. And almost all of them pose no danger at all. Most pass by at enormous distances, missing Earth by millions of miles, continuing on their quiet journeys without ever coming close. And the reason for that is simple and profound at the same time: the emptiness. Space is so vast, so deeply empty, that even when things appear crowded, they are not. In the asteroid belt, for example, objects are separated by distances so large that collisions are incredibly rare. They drift, they pass, they continue, but they almost never meet. For billions of years, Earth has been moving through this vast quiet field, orbiting the Sun with steady rhythm. And in all that time, major impacts have been extremely rare. Yes, there was the event that ended the age of the dinosaurs. And yes, there are scars on Earth that tell the story of past collisions. But when viewed across cosmic time, these events are brief interruptions in an otherwise long, uninterrupted calm. Millions upon millions of years pass with nothing happening at all. The emptiness does its work quietly, persistently, protecting again and again without needing to announce itself. Even when small fragments do reach Earth, they are usually no more than tiny grains, burning up high in the atmosphere, becoming the brief streaks of light you sometimes see at night. They are not dangerous. They are fleeting moments of beauty, small reminders of the vastness above you. Larger objects are far less common, and even those often break apart before reaching the ground, releasing their energy high in the sky. Events like Tunguska are powerful but rare, separated by thousands or tens of thousands of years. And even they are localized, not global. The truly catastrophic impacts, the kind that reshape life on Earth, are rarer still, occurring on timescales so long they almost feel unreal. Once every 100 million years or more. And right now, you are living in a quiet window, a long stretch of cosmic calm where the emptiness has kept the greatest dangers far away. But there is something else now. Something new that did not exist before. Awareness. Observation. The ability to see and understand. We can detect objects long before they come close, track their paths with extraordinary accuracy, and even change their trajectories if needed. A spacecraft has already altered the orbit of an asteroid. A small act on a human scale, but a profound one in meaning. It shows that we are no longer just drifting through space. We are beginning to interact with it, to shape it, carefully, deliberately. So there is no need for worry here. The chances of anything dangerous reaching Earth in your lifetime are so small, they are almost indistinguishable from zero. And even if something were to approach, it would not arrive unseen or unexpected. The universe around you is quiet. The emptiness is deep. And in this moment, you are safe, held within a stable and predictable rhythm that has lasted for billions of years. And as that sense of safety settles in, as your thoughts slow even further, we can gently shift again. Not outward this time, but into something softer, something almost dreamlike. The idea that the universe, despite its silence, is not truly silent at all, because what we call silence is often just something beyond our senses. Sound cannot travel through empty space. That is true. But space itself is filled with signals. with waves, with patterns moving continuously through the void. When charged particles from the sun interact with Earth's magnetic field, they create electromagnetic waves that we cannot hear directly. But when translated, they become soft, haunting tones, whistles and distant hums. Like something alive and breathing beyond perception. It is, in a way, the sun speaking to the earth, filtered through the invisible shield that protects you. Other planets have their own voices as well. Jupiter produces deep, powerful emissions shaped by its immense magnetic field, while Saturn sings in higher, more delicate tones. Each world contributes its own subtle note to a vast, ongoing symphony, and beyond them all, there is the faint echo of the early universe itself. The cosmic microwave background, stretched into a low, steady hum. The deepest note of existence, still present after billions of years. These are not sounds carried by air, but by space itself, waves moving silently through everything, including you. The universe is filled with these signals, always present, always moving, even if you cannot hear them, and in some quiet way, you are immersed in them right now. Radio waves from distant galaxies pass through your body without resistance. Gravitational waves ripple gently through space, stretching and compressing reality on scales too subtle to notice. And the magnetic field of Earth hums softly above you, shielding you, surrounding you. You cannot hear any of this with your ears. But perhaps, as you drift deeper, some part of you can feel it. Not as sound, but as a kind of presence. A quiet, continuous background to existence itself. Maybe your dreams will begin to reflect that. To carry fragments of this unseen symphony, turning it into images, into motion, into something your mind can understand. Maybe the vastness will feel less empty and more like a gentle current, something that carries rather than isolates. Let that happen naturally, without effort, without control, because the universe does not rush. The stars do not strain. They simply exist, shining because that is what they do. Steady, patient, unhurried. And you can do the same. Simply exist. Simply breathe. Simply be. The emptiness around you is not something distant. It is something that holds you. Something that gives space for everything else to exist. Without it, there would be no stars, no planets, no you. It is the background, the structure, the quiet foundation of everything. And in that sense, it is not separate from you at all. You are part of it, shaped by it. A brief moment where the void becomes aware of itself. And as you continue to drift, as your thoughts soften and spread, you may begin to feel that boundary between yourself and everything else becoming a little less defined, a little more open, a little more calm, not disappearing, but relaxing, like something that no longer needs to hold tight. And from that place, the transition becomes effortless, a natural continuation, as the mind begins to wander further, deeper, into the quiet that has always been there. Sleep is not death. It is rest. It is return. It is a quiet remembering of what you truly are beneath all the noise and effort. You are the cosmos dreaming itself into existence. You are stardust that learned to think. You are emptiness that learned to feel. And tonight you are allowed to set everything down for a while. There is nothing left to carry. Nothing left to hold together. just a gentle release back into the silence from which you came. For a few hours, you do not need to be anything at all. You can simply drift, wrapped in the same vast nothingness that stretches between the stars, held without pressure, supported without effort. Let that happen now. Slowly, naturally, without resistance. There is no need to hold on. No need to stay alert. No need to guide the process. Sleep will come the way it always has. Quietly. Patiently. Like a tide that has been rising long before you noticed it. The universe knows how to do this. It has been guiding burning things into rest for billions of years. Stars collapsing into calm. Energy settling into stillness. It understands how to quiet what once was bright. How to soften what once was intense. So trust that process. Let it carry you the same way it carries everything else. Imagine that vastness now, not as something distant, but as something close. Something that surrounds you. Something that gently rocks you without you even noticing. The journey you have taken tonight has been a slow one. A quiet movement from awareness into something deeper. From thought into stillness. From tension into release. You have moved through ideas, through distances, through the spaces between stars. And what you have found there is not fear, but comfort. Not emptiness in the sense of absence, but emptiness in the sense of peace. A space that asks nothing, demands nothing, expects nothing. A silence that does not judge, does not measure, does not compare. And in that silence, there is a kind of acceptance so complete that it becomes almost invisible. Whatever you are, whoever you have been, whatever you have done or left undone, the universe does not resist you. It does not push you away or pull you closer. It simply allows you to be, and that allowance, that quiet openness, is perhaps the deepest form of kindness that exists. You do not need to improve. You do not need to transform. You do not need to become anything else. In this moment, you are already enough. You are already exactly what you need to be. Let that settle gently into your awareness as your breathing slows and your body softens further. Feel the weight of yourself sinking into whatever supports you. Feel the small tensions dissolving one by one. Feel your thoughts becoming less sharp, less urgent, more distant. The world is not going anywhere. The story continues. But for now, you are allowed to step out of it for a while. Nothing will be lost. Nothing will be missed. The stars will still burn. The earth will still turn. The quiet rhythm of the universe will continue exactly as it always has. And as you drift further, you may notice that the boundaries of your awareness begin to loosen. Not disappearing, but softening, like edges fading into darkness. The noise becomes quieter. The thoughts become lighter. The sense of effort dissolves into something more fluid. This is not something to fear. This is something familiar. Every night, in your own way, you return to this place. This state where control is no longer needed. Where holding on is no longer required. You are not losing anything. You are returning to a deeper layer of what you already are. Picture yourself now as something simple. Something effortless. Like a small vessel drifting across a vast, calm ocean. There is no destination you need to reach. No direction you need to choose. The ocean carries you. The current guides you. The surface beneath you is steady and endless, stretching out in every direction. Dark and quiet and safe. You do not need to steer. You do not need to navigate. You do not need to do anything at all. Just float. Just rest. Just allow yourself to be carried. And in that drifting, something subtle happens. The body relaxes completely. The mind releases its last fragments of tension. The awareness becomes softer, vider, less defined. You are no longer separate from the stillness around you. You are part of it. The same emptiness that fills the universe is now filling you. Not as absent, but as calm, as quiet, as peace. This is not the end of anything. This is simply rest. A pause, a gentle interlude in the long unfolding of existence. And even as you move deeper into that quiet, something else remains, a soft continuity, a thread that connects this moment to what comes next. Because the journey does not end here. It only changes form. As your awareness drifts further inward, as your thoughts begin to dissolve into dream, the universe continues to unfold. Quietly, beautifully, far beyond your immediate perception. There are places out there, even now, where new light is being born. Vast clouds of gas and dust, suspended in darkness, slowly collapsing under their own gravity, forming new stars that will burn for millions or billions of years. And one of those places, not so far in cosmic terms, is the Orion Nebula, a region about 1,300 light-years away, where the process of creation is still unfolding, still ongoing, still alive in the quiet depths of space. If you have ever looked up at the constellation Orion on a quiet winter night, you may have noticed a faint, almost mist-like glow hanging in the hunter's sword. A soft blur against the darkness that seems almost too distant to be real. That gentle patch of light is the Orion Nebula. And even though it lies more than 1,000 light-years away, it is still close enough for your eyes to find it. Still bright enough to remind you that creation is always happening somewhere in the universe. When we observe it through powerful telescopes, that faint blur transforms into something breathtaking. Vast clouds of red and pink and violet gas swirling slowly in the dark. Illuminated from within by young, newly formed stars burning with quiet intensity at its core. Within those clouds, delicate structures begin to appear. Towering pillars of dust shaped by invisible stellar winds, stretching across space like slow-moving sculptures. While deep inside them, new stars are forming, surrounded by thin, rotating disks of material that may one day become planets. It is a place of beginnings, of quiet transformation, of possibilities not yet realized. And yet, even here, even in one of the most active star-forming regions we can observe, the truth remains the same. It is mostly empty. The gas and dust that give the nebula its beauty are spread so thin that they would be considered a near-perfect vacuum by any standard on Earth. The particles are separated by vast distances, drifting slowly, rarely touching, rarely colliding. And that is the quiet paradox. Even where creation is at its most vivid, emptiness still dominates. The void is not pushed aside. It is not replaced. It remains, gently holding everything together. Creation does not happen despite emptiness. It happens because of it. Birth arises from the void. The most extraordinary structures in the universe. Stars, planets, life itself, all emerge from what appears at first to be nothing. The emptiness is not barren. It is fertile. It is patient. It is full of potential, waiting quietly for the right moment. And in a way, you are part of that same process. The atoms that make up your body were once scattered across space billions of years ago. drifting in clouds not so different from Orion, moving slowly, almost imperceptibly, until gravity began to gather them, drawing them together into something new. They became part of a forming solar system, part of a young planet, part of a chain of events so long and so complex that it is still not fully understood. And eventually, through time and chance and countless small changes, those same atoms became aware. They became capable of thought, of feeling, of reflection. They became you. You are, in the most literal sense, a child of the void. Shaped from emptiness, formed from particles separated by space, and yet capable of something far greater than the sum of those parts. The emptiness does not diminish you, it elevates you. Against all odds, despite all the vastness and silence, you exist. You are here. You matter. The universe spent billions of years unfolding, evolving, changing, before it arrived at this moment, before it produced something that could look back at it and wonder. Let that thought settle quietly as your awareness continues to soften. You are not small in the way you might sometimes feel. You are improbable. You are rare. You are a moment of consciousness in a cosmos that is otherwise silent. And that is something worth holding gently. Not tightly. Not with effort. But with quiet appreciation as you drift further into rest. And as your thoughts begin to slow again, we can gently expand outward once more. Beyond a single nebula. Beyond individual stars. Into something even larger. Something that stretches across unimaginable distances. There is a structure in the universe known as the cosmic web. A vast network of dark matter and galaxies extending across billions of light years, forming patterns so large that they can only be seen when we step back far beyond any single point of view. If you could somehow look at the universe from that scale, you would see thin filaments of galaxies connecting dense clusters like glowing nodes, with enormous empty regions between them where almost nothing exists. It is a structure of connection and separation, of presence and absence, woven together in a pattern that is both complex and strangely familiar. Some have noticed that it resembles the structure of a neural network, like the connections within a brain. And that resemblance invites a quiet question. Is it just coincidence? Or is there something deeper reflected in that pattern? There is no clear answer. And perhaps there never will be. But the thought itself is enough. Because right now, as you drift closer to sleep, you are also part of a network. Not of galaxies, but of awareness, of connection, of shared experience. You are a small node in a much larger web, connected to others in ways both visible and invisible, woven into something greater than yourself. And just like the cosmic web, most of that structure is empty. The space between connections is vast. And that is what gives the connections meaning. The light matters because it is surrounded by darkness. The presence matters because it is rare. And in that same quiet way, your existence carries weight. Not because it fills the universe, but because it appears within it, like a single point of light in an endless, peaceful void. If everything were connected to everything else, if there were no space between things, nothing would stand out. Nothing would carry meaning. Everything would blur into a single, undifferentiated noise. But that is not the universe we inhabit. What we have instead are islands of meaning scattered across an ocean of silence. Points of light suspended in vast darkness. Brief moments of connection emerging within long stretches of solitude. And those moments, those connections, those small clusters of meaning, they are everything. They are the reason existence feels real. The reason it feels worth experiencing at all. So as you drift closer to sleep, let your thoughts gently turn toward the connections in your own life. The people you love and the people who love you. The quiet bonds that tie your awareness to others on this small and distant world. Those connections are not ordinary things. They are rare, fragile, and profoundly valuable. More precious than any material substance. More meaningful than all the empty space that surrounds them. And yet, for this moment, you do not need to hold on to them. Not because they are unimportant, but because they are stable. They will remain. They will be there when you return, so you can release them. Just for now, let your grip soften. Let the waking world loosen its hold on you. You are not losing anything. You are simply stepping back, allowing yourself to float for a while. Allowing the same emptiness that protects planets and stars to hold you gently. The void is not something cold or hostile. It is quiet. It is patient. It asks nothing of you. And in that absence of demand, it offers something rare, complete rest. And as you let yourself sink further into that rest, you may begin to notice that the silence beneath everything is becoming more present, more tangible, like a background that was always there but is only now coming into focus. It existed before the first star ignited, before matter gathered, before anything took shape, and it will remain long after everything fades. That quiet is not empty in the sense of absence, but full in the sense of potential. A calm, unchanging foundation beneath all change. You can feel it now, gently rising beneath the surface of your awareness. Not pushing, not forcing, simply waiting. There is no need to reach for it. There is no need to understand it. Just allow yourself to drift into it, to soften into it, to become a little less defined, a little less separate. Let the words fade in importance. Let the thoughts lose their sharp edges. Let everything you think you are loosen its structure until what remains is something simple, awareness without effort, presence without tension. A quiet state of being that does not need to become anything else. From that place, the transition becomes natural. Sleep is no longer something you are trying to achieve. It is something you are already moving toward. Something that unfolds on its own as resistance disappears. The universe continues around you, steady and unhurried. Galaxies turning, stars burning, space stretching endlessly in every direction. And within that vast motion, you are allowed to become still. You are not alone in this. You have never been alone. You are part of something so large it has no edge. Something so continuous it does not begin or end. And that vast structure is holding you even now. It is not something you need to see or prove. It is simply there. Supporting, allowing, carrying, and as your awareness drifts even further, the imagery becomes softer, more fluid, like distant impressions forming in a dream. You might imagine the Earth from far away. A small blue sphere suspended in darkness, covered in clouds, turning slowly in the light of a nearby star. Every person you have ever known exists on that tiny surface. Every story, every memory, every moment of meaning contained within that fragile boundary, floating through an ocean of emptiness so vast it cannot be measured. And surrounding that small world in every direction is space. Quiet, open, infinite in appearance, stretching far beyond what the mind can hold. And yet, that emptiness is not something to fear. It is what allows that small world to shine. It is what gives contrast to light. What gives space for meaning to emerge? Without it, nothing would stand out. Nothing would matter. The darkness is what makes the light visible. And in that same way, you are part of that light. One small flame within a much larger field of awareness, contributing your own presence, your own experience, your own quiet glow. When you move towards sleep, that flame does not disappear. It softens. It dims. It rests. It gathers itself, preparing to return again when the cycle continues. This is the natural rhythm of existence. Movement and stillness. Light and dark. Awareness and rest. One flows into the other without conflict. Without resistance. You have followed this rhythm thousands of times before. And each time, it has carried you safely through the night and back again. There is no reason to doubt it now. So let yourself trust that rhythm again. Let your body continue what it already knows how to do. Let your mind release what it no longer needs to hold. You are not falling into something unknown. You are returning to something familiar. Something ancient. Something that has always been part of you. And as you continue to drift, you may begin to sense something even larger. Not just your own rest, but a shared stillness. Something collective. Across the planet, countless others are also sleeping. Their thoughts quiet. Their awareness softened. Their bodies at rest. And in that shared quiet, there is a kind of unity. A vast, invisible connection. Like a gentle field of calm spreading across the surface of the earth. You become part of that field without effort. You are carried into it naturally. Like a drop of water returning to a calm ocean. There is no separation here. No isolation. Only a quiet merging into something wider. Something that holds all of it together. And beyond even that, the universe itself continues in its own slow rhythm. Stars burning without urgency. Galaxies turning without haste. Everything unfolding at its own pace. Without pressure. Without strain. And within that immense, patient motion, you are allowed to rest completely. To drift without direction. To exist without effort. As the night deepens, and the quiet becomes complete, and the next phase of the journey begins to unfold on its own. The galaxies spin slowly, without hurry. The cosmos expands in silence, without effort. Everything is moving exactly as it should, in the only direction it ever could. There is no panic in the universe, no urgency. Only a quiet unfolding, one moment at a time. Now, gently bring your attention to your breath. Let it slow, just a little. Let each inhale stretch softly, and each exhale drift a little longer into the dark. Feel your heartbeat settling. Not forced, just naturally finding its rhythm. As if, without trying. You are beginning to match something older, something vast. You are not separate from it. You never were. For a little while, you can simply rest here, suspended in the same stillness that holds galaxies together. The void is not empty in the way we fear. It is quiet, patient, and endlessly gentle. It has been here all along, waiting without expectation. And now, you are ready to meet it. There is nothing you need to do, nothing to hold on to, nothing to control. Just allow yourself to drift, not falling, but floating, as if you are carried by something you cannot see, but have always trusted. Deeper now, into a softer kind of silence. If thoughts appear, let them pass like distant stars, fading as they move across the dark. You do not need to follow them. You do not need to understand them. Just drift. Your body already knows this path. Your mind has walked it countless times before. Sleep is not something you achieve. It is something you return to. And you will return, exactly as deeply as you need. The morning will come. It always does. Quietly, gently, without asking anything of you. But for now, there is only this. This stillness, this softness, this endless, quiet space. Let your thoughts grow lighter until they dissolve completely. Let your sense of self loosen, like a cloud slowly fading into open sky, until there is only awareness, calm, open, at rest. This is where you began, and this is where you return. A quiet home beneath everything else. So let go, completely now. No effort. No resistance. Just drifting, just resting, just being. The universe knows what it is doing. And so do you. You have done this your whole life. And tonight, you can do it again, even more gently. Even more easily. The journey is complete. The words are no longer needed. Only silence remains. And in that silence, peace. And in that peace, rest. And in that rest, renewal. Sleep well. The cosmos is still here. The stars remain. And you are held safely within it all. Good night. Drift now, slowly, into the quiet.